Colonialism and imperialism have shaped the world in profound ways. But what exactly do these terms mean? Colonialism is the practice of acquiring and exploiting territories by a foreign power, often to benefit the colonizer's economic interests and cultural supremacy. It has led to the subjugation and transformation of entire societies. From the Americas to Africa, colonial powers imposed their control, fundamentally altering the course of history. Imperialism, on the other hand, extends beyond direct territorial control. It encompasses broader domination and influence over other nations, politically, economically, and culturally. This pursuit for power and expansion is driven by the desire to control resources and markets, often resulting in long-lasting impacts on global relations. Throughout history, colonialism and imperialism have left indelible marks. The scramble for colonies and spheres of influence have shaped modern nations, borders, and conflicts. Understanding these terms is crucial to grasping the foundations upon which postcolonial theory builds. As we embark on this journey, we'll explore the cultural, political, and economic legacies of colonialism and imperialism. We'll uncover personal stories and examine case studies, all through the lens of postcolonial theory. Stay with us as we unveil the complexities of colonialism and its enduring impact on our world. Colonialism didn't just change borders, it transformed cultures. Ancient traditions were overshadowed, replaced by foreign customs and languages. Cultural assimilation became a harsh reality for many indigenous populations, leading to a profound loss of native traditions and identities. As colonists imposed their ways of life, indigenous cultures struggled to survive. Stories, rituals, and wisdom passed down for generations began to fade away. Yet not all was lost. In the midst of displacement and upheaval, cultural hybridity emerged, a blending of old and new, indigenous and colonial. This fusion often birthed new art forms, languages, and practices. However, it was a complex interplay, not without its conflicts and contradictions. The impact of colonialism on culture is deep and multifaceted, shaping the identities and histories of entire nations. As we continue, we will dive deeper into the political ramifications of colonial rule, uncovering how these cultural shifts were just one aspect of the vast influence colonialism wielded over the colonized world. Stay with us as we explore the lasting political legacies that continue to shape modern geopolitics. The political landscape of many countries today is a direct result of colonial rule. Colonial powers drew borders with little regard for existing ethnic, cultural, or political divisions. These arbitrary boundaries often forced disparate groups into uneasy coexistence. The formation of new states from former colonies was a complex and often turbulent process. Political instability became a common feature in these nascent nations, disrupted by power struggles and conflicts. Transitioning from colonial rule to independence created a vacuum of authority, paving the way for military coups and autocratic regimes. Post-colonial states frequently grappled with questions of legitimacy, identity, and governance. The legacy of colonial borders continues to influence modern-day geopolitics, fostering regional conflicts and political unrest. Understanding this historical context is crucial to grasping the political complexities of the present. As we explore further, we will see how these political legacies intersect with economic and cultural impacts. This intricate web of influences highlights the profound consequences of colonial rule on contemporary international relations. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the economic ramifications of colonialism and how they shape today's global economy. Colonialism was driven by economic motives, and its economic impacts are still felt today. This segment delves into the roots of economic exploitation that characterized colonial rule. Colonies served as reservoirs of resources, their wealth extracted and funneled back to imperial powers. This relentless extraction stunted local industries and economies, leaving a lasting legacy of economic dependency. Many former colonies remain tied to their colonial masters through trade patterns established centuries ago. The impacts are seen in the persistent gaps in wealth and development between once colonized nations and their colonizers. Economic policies imposed during colonialism also created structures that favored foreign interests over local progress. Today, these countries grapple with the ramifications, struggling to break free from cycles of poverty and external control. As we move forward, you'll see how these economic legacies intertwine with the cultural and political consequences of colonial rule, illustrating the pervasive and enduring nature of colonialism's impact. Through understanding these economic dimensions, we gain insight into the intricate web of postcolonial challenges that shape our current global landscape. In this segment, we delve into postcolonial theory, a robust framework that helps us understand the enduring impacts of colonialism and imperialism. Postcolonial theory seeks to unravel the complex web of cultural, political, and economic legacies left behind by colonial rule. At its core, postcolonial theory challenges the narratives established by colonial powers, offering alternative perspectives from the colonized. Prominent thinkers like Edward Said, Homi Bhabha, and Gayatri Spivak have been instrumental in shaping this field. Their work highlights the nuanced ways colonialism has embedded itself into the world's fabric. One of the key concepts in postcolonial theory is hybridity, which explores how cultures blend and transform under colonial influence. Another is subaltern studies, focusing on those who exist outside the hegemonic power structures. These ideas help dissect the varied experiences of postcolonial societies, revealing hidden histories and overlooked voices. As we move forward, you'll see how these theories play out in specific contexts, shedding light on the intricate patterns of resistance and adaptation that characterize postcolonial experiences. Through this lens, we grasp a deeper understanding of our present and forge a more informed future. India's encounter with British colonialism provides a compelling illustration of postcolonial theory in action. During the British Raj, spanning nearly 2 centuries, India's social fabric was profoundly altered. Traditional practices and languages faced erosion as English education and Western norms were imposed. Politically, British rule restructured India, creating regional divisions that fostered long-lasting conflict. The colonial administration's legacy still echoes in India's governance and legal systems today. Economically, British policies turned India into a supplier of raw materials for British industries, stunting local economic growth and leading to dependency. The emphasis on cash crops over subsistence farming resulted in devastating famines. India's path to independence in 1947 marked a significant step away from colonial domination, but the impacts of British rule persist, intertwined with the nation's cultural, political, and economic identity. This case study underscores the enduring relevance of postcolonial theory, offering a lens through which we can better understand the complexities of colonial legacies. As we delve deeper, we'll turn our focus to another crucial example, exploring the profound impacts of colonialism in Africa. We'll see how the scramble for Africa left a continent grappling with similar cultural, political, and economic challenges. In exploring the profound and lasting impacts of colonialism, Africa offers a particularly compelling case study. The scramble for Africa in the late 19th century was a fierce competition among European powers to claim African territories. This scramble resulted in artificial borders that ignored existing ethnic and cultural lines, leading to significant cultural upheaval. Traditional ways of life were disrupted, while colonial languages and religions often supplanted indigenous ones. Politically, the continent was left with a legacy of instability as newly formed states grappled with borders drawn by colonial rulers, with little regard for the peoples they encompassed. Many African nations found themselves in perpetual conflict, a struggle for identity and power that continues to this day. Economically, the exploitation of Africa's vast resources enriched the colonial powers, but left African economies dependent on exporting raw materials without the benefits of industrialization. These complex layers of cultural, political, and economic impacts are critical to understanding Africa's contemporary challenges and successes. As we move forward, you'll see how postcolonial theory helps us make sense of these intricate legacies and enables us to craft more nuanced narratives about the lasting effects of colonialism. The Caribbean region stands as a profound case study for postcolonial theory, embodying the intricate tapestry woven by centuries of colonial rule. From the arrival of European powers, the waves of cultural impact began, blending indigenous traditions with imposed European customs, creating a unique cultural amalgam. Politically, the legacy of colonialism is unmistakable. Governance structures, legal systems, and national borders were all shaped by colonial administrators, resulting in a lingering political framework that struggles with stability and self-determination. Economically, the Caribbean's colonial past continues to resonate through patterns of resource exploitation and economic dependency. Plantations once fueled by forced labor have transformed into economies reliant on tourism and external investment. Through this examination, the Caribbean's history vividly illustrates the core concepts of postcolonial theory, how cultural, political, and economic legacies of colonialism persist, influencing contemporary realities. As we delve deeper, we uncover the enduring ramifications and the pathways to understanding and addressing these impacts through the lens of postcolonial theory. Next, we will hear personal stories and testimonials, giving voice to individuals whose lives have been shaped by these legacies. Let's hear from individuals whose lives have been shaped by the legacies of colonialism. These personal stories remind us that the impacts of colonial rule are not just historical abstractions, but deeply human experiences. One woman recounts how her family's land was taken away, reshaping their future and altering their sense of home. A man tells of how colonial education systems erased his native language, affecting his identity and heritage. Each testimony brings the often abstract concepts of postcolonial theory to a tangible emotional level. The loss of cultural practices, the disruption of political structures, and the economic hardships faced by these individuals are all parts of a larger narrative. Their stories not only highlight the enduring legacy of colonialism, but also illustrate the resilience and strength of those who navigate these challenges. As we conclude our examination of the impacts of colonialism, let these personal accounts serve as a powerful reminder of why understanding history through the postcolonial lens is crucial. Their echoes of the past shape present realities and future possibilities. In our final segment, we will summarize these insights and encourage you to explore further. Join us as we wrap up our journey into the theory of postcolonialism. We've journeyed through the profound legacies of colonialism and imperialism, unveiling cultural, political, and economic impacts that still reverberate today. Postcolonial theory has illuminated these complexities, providing us with a crucial framework to decipher the enduring influence of the colonial past. We've seen specific examples from India, Africa, and the Caribbean, each illustrating the theory's relevance and depth. To educate ourselves on postcolonial theory is to understand both our history and our present more deeply. This understanding equips us to challenge and change the remnants of colonial systems still around us. So I encourage you to take this journey further. Explore more, read more, and engage with this critical framework. Let's continue learning and growing as we seek to understand the past so we can better shape the future. As we move forward, remember, the act of learning never ends. Each revelation brings us one step closer to a more just and equitable world. Thank you for watching.